Hello and welcome you all. So today in this video we are going to check about the VPC pairing. So before starting, let me give you the definition of VPC pairing connection. Okay, so VPC pairing connection is a networking connection between two VPC that enables you to route traffic between the two VPC, the requester and the acceptor VPC using the private IPv4 and private IPv6 addresses. So the common use cases of using the VPC pairing can be, so let's say you have two accounts and you want to provide the access or peer two or more VPCs to provide a full access to your resources, so that when if you want to provide the access a full access to the resources between the two VPCs, and there are some scenario there can be another scenario, that is now let's say you have your centralized resources and you want to provide that centralized access to the another VPC. Okay, in that scenario also you can use the VPC peering connection. Now configure the VPC peering connection and remember one thing. So to create or to have the VPC peering connection, we should not overlap with the IPv4 addresses, VPC addresses. Now here if you just check, the IP address is different, here is the IP address is different, but now for a time being, if I would have this IP address, then VPC peering connection will not work because it works on the private IP addresses. So as I already mentioned you, so I had created a two EC2 instances. Okay, so this is my requester VPC and this is my acceptor VPC. Now what I'm going to show you is that how my EC2 instance, how my instance of one VPC will get connected or get access or connectivity between the other account VPC or the other VPC. So as of now I am just using the two VPCs in the same account. You can use a different account also because it's a private connection, so that it won't have any issue. So I'll be demonstrating you about this setup. So I had created a two EC2 instance where this default VPC EC2 instance is in the public subnet and the another EC2 instance is in the private subnet. Now we will check the connectivity between these two VPC, and if it doesn't work, we'll create the peering connection and again we'll check it so that you'll get a clear understanding. Now let's get onto the demo side. I'll just show you the EC2 instances that I created. So if you just check, this is my default web server and it is having the public IP address. That means I created it is in the public subnet. Now I have created another EC2 instance just to check the connectivity between the two VPCs, and it doesn't have the public IPv4 address, so it is also in the private subnet of the second VPC, that is my 52CC. Now just what I will do, I will log into the one of the EC2 instance. So what I will do, I will try to connect the secondary EC2 instance from this EC2 instance. For that I will need the private IP addresses. So this is my default one and this is my acceptor. Okay, so this is my second VPC. What I will do, I will just ping it. Now if you just check, there is a delay in that because we are not able to connect to that VPC because we don't have any connection between the two of the VPC. Now let's configure the VPC peering connection. So to create a VPC peering connection, that this was already done by me. So you will have to check out in the VPC dashboard. On the left hand side there will have the VPC peering connection. So we'll create the peering connection, VPC peering connection. Okay, now so what is my requester VPC ID is that because I am pinging out the thing from my EC2 instance which is in the default VPC. So I'm just keeping out as a requester VPC as a default, and this you can check the two things here. If my another VPC to pair with is in the same account or another account, currently it's on my same account, so I'll just go ahead, I'll just select the secondary VPC, that is my acceptor, and once I create the peering connection, it will ask you to accept the connection, because what is happening here, if you want to give the access of this VPC resource to another account, right? So what it will do, they will create this VPC peering connection, because you will have to accept it. Unless you accept it, you won't get the connection. So I'll just accept the request. So here is the first thing that we have done. We have created the VPC peering connection. Now, as I already mentioned you, we will have to change the route table of the specific VPC. Now let's go ahead and we'll configure the route table. So modify my route tables now, and if you just check, this is my default one. When I edit this route, I'll add the route, and here what I will do, I will add the CIDR range another VPC. So what I will do, I will add the CIDR range, that is my secondary VPC that I am trying to connect. So I'll just go ahead and I will just modify the route, that is, so this is my, whenever somebody from this VPC ID wants to ping to this private IP address, so what my connection it will do, it will come here and it will translate that, or it will transfer that connection to my VPC peering connection. So this I just connected the route table. The same I will have to do it for the Cloud Premi as well, because it's a two-way connection. Edit route, add route. Here, if you just check, my default VPC address is different. So what I will do, I will add this default VPC CIDR to my the secondary VPC route table. Okay, and I'll just choose the peering connection as this. So by this mean, what it will happen, even if from my secondary VPC wants to get access to the resources of primary VPC, that is my default VPC, there also I can go ahead and access the services. Okay, now let's try this, try to hit our connection. Let's try to hit the same private IP address. Okay, here is the main thing that you will have to follow. Whenever you are trying to access any private resources, what you will have to do, modify the security group. Here, if you just check, the TCP port is allowed to all, but I will have to modify my security group so that my default VPC can talk to this secondary VPC. I will just add the rule, and what I will have to do, because I am trying out the things from my default web server 1, so I will have to add the security group of this EC2 instance to my wherever I am just requesting it, and I'll just get ahead and I'll just choose the all traffic. I'll just add the VPC one. So now we have set up my security group inside my non-default web server 2 EC2 instance. Now if I just go ahead and if I ping it, now you'll see I'm getting the response. So this is how we can create the VPC peering connection, update the route table, and we can easily get a private connection from between the two VPCs. So the first one, the requester, and the another one will be the acceptors. So this was all about the VPC peering, guys. I hope you are liking this VPC networking series. Make sure that you are deprovisioning the resources. I will show you how we can deprovision the resources. So I will delete this EC2 instance later on. what you will have to do, you will have to go ahead and delete the VPC peering connection. Action, delete VPC peering connection, delete the related root table entries. Also, if you have created the EC2 instance, you can delete it. So this was all about the VPC peering, guys. Keep learning, keep growing, be a cloud premium always. Thank you.